gotta look away when you're staring me down with daggers. I'm not sure what to say, but no matter what, it don't matter. The comical light got me wide-eyed this time. I touch your tongue tied, go ahead and make up my mind. Ooh, lips are turning blue, chemicals in you, trying to take me out of my body. Ooh, with the Panasonic view, looking right through me, you're gonna take me out of my body. I don't know how you do it, yeah, but there's a rhythm in the room and I can't keep up. Or do you feel it moving? A bit of bitters in the wound, yeah, it feels like us. The comical light got me wide-eyed this time. I touch your tongue tied, go ahead and make up my mind. Ooh, lips are turning blue, chemicals in you, trying to take me out of my body. Ooh, with the Panasonic view, looking right through me, you're gonna take me out of my body. Out of my body. If it's alright, won't you say why? Know you got plans, but I got the time. Heard you told a friend, now I gotta mend a little bit more than we like to pretend. If it's alright, won't you say why? Tell me your sins and I'll tell you mine. Heard you told a friend, now I gotta mend. Give it a try, baby, pull the pin.
Let's start a few days ago. As we pull up through the darkness of day grace, specks of light from homely windows whiz past the brickwork of the great slab city, uh, and give way to a small forgotten bridge. It connects the grim alleys of Lowtown to Midtown over an alarmingly deep drop. A slither of moonlight fights its way through the buildings, casting a dim glow across the cobbles. Two young men, barely out of boyhood, with marks of the Shadow Hand branded on their necks, step out onto that bridge. Chains bind their hands as they're trailed by two robed figures, faces covered by plain black masks. I assume you're going to show yourself sooner rather than later, a fifth voice calls. The terms of this exchange were made quite clear. A glint of metal, and emerging from the shadows is a man in silvered Confederate armor with dull black eyes. He looks into the alley ahead of him, squinting as shapes dance in the darkness. She was here. He hated such lowly work that had been given to him. That he, of all people, had to deal with the city's scum when the puppets were more than suffice. But he also understood his position. He knew such tests of loyalty were merely means to an end. After all, if they couldn't... How sickly this city has become, a voice interrupted his thoughts. Even the shields of day grace bear tarnished metal now. You must feel honored, being reduced to errand work. The assembly has truly outdone themselves. He grit his teeth. Did you bring the Skyport deeds? There was a pause, and the shadows ahead of him grew darker. Blackened fingers curled around the edge of buildings, skittering up and down like spiders on the stonework. I did. But you've only brought 2. His palm whipped to his blade as a giant detached hand launched itself from the edge of the building, slamming into one of the masked figures behind him and sending it careening off the stone bridge into the city below. He drew his sword just in time for it to meet the blade of a dagger, metal screeching. Behind him, the Shadow Hand prisoner, now free, charged him. He wouldn't get far. A crunch sounded only moments later, and the second masked figure held the remnants of his skull down to the stonework. Enough, he growled, planting his feet. His black eyes flashed white for a moment, and around him all the shadows he could see dissipated. The deed, or this will no longer be an exchange. And we move to a few days later. A similar sort of time, the second time sort of drawing to a close, and the reds giving way to sort of the dull purples and blues of the evening, as you and Nikki step into the mess tent. You can see on the far side, Rat has sort of clearly drummed together a group of people and is playing the dealer for a card game in which he seems to be the only winner. And he spots you and grins as you come in.
You know, on retrospect, I've had time to think from now the last session. I don't think Rat's our guy. I don't think we need Rat anymore. Like, not for this particular task. I give him a little, like nod. If he's actively looking at me.
Yeah, he's sort of regarded you, and you see he sort of said something to the group, who seem upset, but mostly focused on the game that no one seems to be winning. And he sort of rubs his hands together and sort of scurries on over to you. How are things with you? Looks like you've been through a bit of the ringer.
I nod. I'm fine. It's just been a bit of an interesting day for me. I managed to get quite far in the dungeons, though.
Made yourself a good bit of coin then, have you? I've got a game running. I'm sure we could deal you in.
I'm afraid that I'll have to wait for another time. I have other business to attend to.
Very well. Anything you want to cut me on? I've been looking into that offer of yours, and I've made a few connections. Most people, though, this early on, they're pretty keen to keep their material goods. I've been trying to work on the Silver Shield boy, actually, but he seems a little more cautious than one might expect for someone whose pockets are so well lined. His buddy, however, is a lot more persuadable. I reckon if we can get him to give it a try, which he seems willing to do, then might bring the Silver Shield boy in yet.
Okay. Well, if you can convince them and everyone's happy with the terms, we can give it a go.
Well, it's up to you. You can do it at your leisure. I think they're here. I think I saw them at the bar a little whiles away.
You want me to persuade them?
Well, you can ask him if he wants to, give it a bit of a go now. I'm sure I can secure a little corner table for us if you want to do this all quiet-like. But if you're busy, I'm sure I can, work on them a little bit more.
I look around the tavern in search for the woman with the scarf. Because I think that's who I'm really after today.
You look around the tavern, you see a lot of the groups that have sort of formed, all have sort of found their place on their own table. You remember last time you saw her, she was at the bar?
Yeah.
And the only 2 people at the bar right now, well, I say bar, it's like a makeshift bar, seem to be this boy that you recall being called Alex Silvershield, the sort of blonde, floppy-haired guy. And the one that, again, as you look at him, just seems a little familiar to you and you're not sure why. And they seem to be having a bit of a heated conversation. You can make me a perception check quick.
Mm-hmm.
As you're casting over the crowd.
Wait, who the fuck is this guy who looks similar to me again?
You have no idea. You've seen him twice, and the only thing that you really it just catches you. You look at him and it's like, I feel like I know you, but I definitely don't.
Are they an orphan? Okay, hold on. Let's see. Perception, yeah, wisdom.
Yeah.
Cool. 16.
16. You're looking around this room. With a 16, you can definitely tell she's not here. You also catch, what do you mean she's cut out on us? From Alec.
Okay. That sounds like. I'll turn to Rat and say, "Who are those guys?"
Oh, well, that's the Silver Shield. That's the guy I was talking to you about, and the more persuadable one. What was his name? And you look over and you see this sort of like floppy-haired boy. I think his name was Brightwick, something like that.
Yeah.
That's at least what the Silver Shield boy was referring to him as.
I caught that as well. Would you, actually, maybe I will talk to them. And see what I can do.
Sure thing. I'm gonna head back to my table.
Alright.
And he shakes his hand, and there's a bit of a groan as he settles himself down and goes, "Right, everyone got their pets in?"
Okay, I'll walk over to this table.
Yeah, you walk over to them, and they're
bar, I mean.
very much having a sort of like heated discussion. You see Alex sort of like runs a hand through his hair. "And after we found that nest down south the other day, perhaps she really is a coward. We'll have to find someone better suited to glory tomorrow."
I'm just gonna order a drink. See if they keep
yeah,
talking about her. I don't know if it's the same person, but it might be.
You settle down at the bar and you sort of order a drink. And the other boy with him with the sort of like mousy brown hair sort of does his best to sort of pat him on the back, which is sort of like brushed off a little bit, but he doesn't seem to mind. He goes, I'm sure Imogen had just other things to do. You know how she is. She was never really much of a talker. I'm sure we can find someone else to fill her spot, Alec." And he goes, "But someone with her capabilities? I'm not going back to Maze, if that's what you're thinking. I wasn't suggesting that we do, but I don't know. There's plenty of good people here who can wield a sword. Chin up. We've got a lot of time to think about it. We should probably turn in for the evening. And besides," he sort of leans in a little bit and lowers his voice. And you can make me a perception check if you want to listen in.
A hard 10.
A hard 10. You don't hear quite what's exchanged, but he gives a little grin, and he sort of pats his like pack, and they both sort of peek into it, and you see a sudden look of panic flash across their face.
Right.
And they both sort of get up from the bar. "You have to have put it down somewhere, surely. There's no hole in the bag, right? It's got to be in your room." And they both make a quick exit over towards the cabins.
Ooh. I stand from the bar.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling that they've also been robbed. So, if I was a thief who's robbed just about everyone, where will I go?
You see Nikki sort of like takes a long drag of her drink. "I certainly wouldn't stay in the cabins."
No, I that was more of an internal note, but
Oh, okay.
I would walk over and be like, "Nikki, do you have any idea where this?" Wait, I should probably clarify this because I'm not entirely sure how much of this is internally in my mind and how much I've talked to you. But I should clarify. They were robbed by a member of Shadowhand, remember? This is just from last session.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Zather kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
You filled me in.
what I didn't mention was that there was a woman here who had kind of like a scarf. They had like this. How do I explain it? Right. Wait, I've lost it. There it is. Yeah. So dark purple eyes, wavy dark purple hair, kind of deal. I think I overheard their name was Imogen.
I don't know anything about her, but I saw her on the way in when we were first here.
You did?
Yeah, she was sat at the bar while
Right.
we were at the table here with Laurel.
So I suspect that they might be the thief.
Mm.
So
Well,
it seems like they might not have only robbed the Zath kids as well, but also this Maxim Silverhand's heir, Alec, and their friend. Which is, well, let's just say that it could mean that they have the final boss key.
an efficient night for them, I suppose.
True. But that means they hold 2/3, and I check my own pockets. I still have the final one, right?
Yeah, you do.
Now, that would mean that this is, the last thing on their checklist. We should look for them, but perhaps I shouldn't take this with me. How do we do this? Nikki, do you reckon they'd go to the airships if they were hiding? Because if you were trying to get a quick getaway now, like, where would you go? Like, the airships has to be the way off this island, right?
Might go and hide out in the airships, but if she's sneaky, I wouldn't put it past her to try and camp out in the dungeon, crazy as that might sound. If she really is a member of this Black Hand, I've heard whispers about him.
But
They're meant to be proper survivors, right?
They wouldn't be allowed into the dungeon, surely, if it was just them.
Nikki shrugs. No one's watching.
No one's watching right now?
No, look outside.
I check. I thought there was a
you
guy.
peek out the door.
The guy with the mask.
There was a guy on the first day. They have since seemingly
It's
moved
still
away.
Day one. But
It is recommended that you go with a group of 3.
I say. Okay, so they've probably gone into the dungeon. Honestly, that makes things a lot easier.
They've got to be running on empty, though.
Hmm.
I'm not feeling too hot myself.
No?
No, I mean, we've been running all over that jungle ruin for hours. The sun's starting to set. I don't know about you, but I need my sleep.
Okay. Well then, I guess I'll give you this choice. We have a few things. So, the flower that we need to get for Isla is in the dungeon still. And without that, she will get to the point where she will, be chronically ill. If I don't manage to recover the stolen goods from the woman who's in the dungeon right now, we suspect, then things might not turn out great for me either. Because of whatever this black goop was. So I'm not entirely sure what to do. I mean, we can wait, but there's no point rushing in and overexerting ourselves now, unless you're confident to go in. Because I've already asked the woman that you ran into before, and I think that should be.
Don't get me
down.
wrong. If you want to go chasing her into this dungeon late at night, I'm happy to go with you. I'm just saying, if it comes to an encounter and she's had a rest and we haven't, that might put us at a bit of a disadvantage.
It's true. But if we wait until tomorrow, then she'll have rested for certain. How much does a rest mean to you? Because I'm relatively healthy, wound-wise.
I'm I'm doing all right. I'm a little beat up after that slime that I wandered around into, but other than that, I'm all right. My ability doesn't exert me too much. It's up to you. I'm happy to go. I'm happy to chase her down now, but we might be, tracking someone who's better at hiding than we are. Maybe we could turn in early, get an early start. Maybe see if we could get out on her before she is up and running herself.
Okay. I'll go meet up with the, I can't remember her name. What was the woman's name?
Myth.
Myth. It is in my notes somewhere. Yes, Smith, apprentice of the Arch Expositor. Cool.
Arch Expositor, Craven.
Then yes. Let's head into the dungeon tomorrow morning. I will go talk to Myth and tell her that on second thoughts we're gonna get some rest and then we'll start tomorrow early.
Yeah, she is perfectly happy with that. She says she'll meet you by the gate.
Excellent. Then that's what we'll do. We'll go rest early.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah.
As you turn in for an early night. As it ticks into the third time slot, you gain another 10 spark.
Yeah.
You can make me an intelligence check if you want.
Yeah. Why not? It's 9.
You don't get much on a 9. You feel again that strange, almost like sucking sensation from within you, as I assume you tried to get some rest.
I will check all of my shit to make sure it's all still there.
Yep. Everything is accounted for.
Then I'll just I guess I'll just make sure the door's locked. Although I know that doesn't stop this thief. Wishing I had a ring or something that was more secure. I just hold on to my belongings.
Wonderful. You hold on to your belongings, you try to sleep. Can you make me 2 checks? One a flat d20, and one a constitution check.
16 on the flat. And 16 on the flat, 15 on a con save.
Okay. You get up to a sort of like knock on your door as you can see sort of like the red light of dawn seeping in through the one window of your room. Nikki's outside and she sort of calls for you to get up. You check your bag.
Flat D20.
You don't know.
Is that my legendary body? Hello?
No. What?
What's that?
Nikki. Hey, if you want to get up here before the sun's fully over our heads, we are gonna need to make a move.
Oh yeah. Right. When I throw myself up, I check my shit. Is it all still there?
Yep, you check your shit, all still there, all accounted for.
Alright. I'm
and
sensing a lingering butt. What's going on?
You push the door open and begin sort of like walking through the clearing. Nikki sort of tosses you what seems like effectively like a tuna melt, but more sort of like rustic, that she grabbed from the mess tent, and she seems pretty ready to go. You can see up ahead, waiting sort of like by the portal, Myth is sort of like sat sipping a small little cup of something, but she begins sort of packing it away. And you can see there's sort of like a bit of a bustle going around. You can see that Alec and his group are currently talking to Rat. You can see a couple of other groups seeming to like eye Rat with a bit of a sour expression, but everyone's sort of like making their move. But you seem ready to go before most of them. So you get up to the gate. And Myth smiles and gives you a bit of a nod. Ah, where are we heading first then? Just generally out into the forest, or do you want to see this temple proper?
Well, you gotta. Mm, I
I
think.
can sense that you are in a rush. We can look at this anytime. We will be here all week.
I would like to look at that statue another time, and I don't want to. I want to look at it properly. Is my thing. I don't want to like
It is
rush
best
through
not
it.
to admire the goddess in haste. This is
Exactly.
this is wise.
We'll have to
Well
come
then.
back to it.
Let us go. I know most people were scouring the ruins a bit yesterday and heading off to the west, so if we are looking for new things, perhaps going south would be a good plan.
Okay. Did we go south? What was south?
You've only been around in the ruins. You've not exited into the main jungle. But it seems some groups, perhaps the one she was with yesterday, went west into the forest.
Then I'll leave out and try. Yeah, we'll just go out into the forest. How does it work?
You just head out. So previously you were exploring the little dungeon map of this strange temple, but this temple has multiple exits. One of which you know about, the sort of large room with the dry blood, that leads out just into a jungle that you are yet to explore. There are seemingly like two trails that seem very well worn where people have clearly moved through yesterday. Which will be faster to travel through, or you can sort of strike out on your own in a random direction. You said you were looking for a plant?
A nod.
I know a place there is a thicker foliage, if that is the sort of thing you're looking for.
That sounds like where we should head. We'll strike out on a new direction afterwards, but let's see if you can lead us to where we need to be.
Yeah, make me a survival check as you guys begin to head sort of like in a more sort of southwesty direction.
Okay. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, wait, sorry, repeat that? You want me to head in the west or southern direction?
No, make me a survival check.
A survival check. Sorry, my mind's going fucking crazy.
It's okay. It's okay.
Survival wisdom.
You can take a second and refigure out your plan. Myth simply only knows you're out for flowers.
Yeah, I know. Okay, I should tell Myth actually. Before we get fully going, I will say one other thing, by the way, Myth. We're also looking for I give the description of the girl. And I say like this woman is thought to have stolen a few bits and pieces from people, and they've taken something inadvertently from me without knowing. So, if possible, I'd like to see if I can get that back. But they're probably dangerous to encounter right now. So, I'm not entirely sure what the best plan of action is. Getting this flower is obviously going to be very vital. It will, save Isla. But then after that, if we can find this woman and recover my stolen goods, that would be excellent.
Well, it is still early. Perhaps if we could get up to a vantage point, we might see something.
That's a good point. We might have a fire or something burning. Are there any high vantage points that are visible from here?
You are surrounded by trees. If you could get up one, plenty of high vantage points.
Okay. In that case, I put my training sword down, and then I'll turn to this tree, and I'm like, give me a second to climb this tree. See if I can see anything. And then I'm just going to scale the tree.
Absolutely. Make me an athletics check.
Sure. 20.
20. Yeah, you begin sort of pulling yourself up through the branches of these trees. They are very tall, but thankfully, they're very thick. They're very, like, dense with branches, and climbing them isn't particularly difficult. It's not like the sort of, like, slick rocks of the temple. It's very much the humidity is risen up through these, and the thick sort of plant life that's growing on these branches make for very good handholds. And you manage to get up sort of into the upper canopy, and there is just a plethora of movement up here. You can see sort of like movement and shape shifting through the trees a little ways away. You see below you sort of alarmingly movement through the undergrowth as well, not coming towards you, but sizable enough to be a little alarming, heading in the direction of what looks like a little opening in the trees some ways off, like further south. You see sort of very distantly a more sort of like rocky, not mountainous, but certainly like raised area. And make me a perception check.
15.
Just about, very, very distantly, you can see sort of a grey, drifting plume of smoke.
Hmm. So they're out towards that mountain.
They're out sort of like, yeah, past that little break in the trees, a little ways, and it is very faint.
Yeah. How many? Could you describe the 3 locations again?
Yeah, so there's an area sort of like further south of you, where there's a sort of like break in the trees a little bit. Not massive, but like noticeable. There's sort of like further beyond that, even past that, there's sort of a slightly raised, more like craggy, thickly dense area.
Hmm.
And then around you, you can see sort of more southwesty, which is the direction that Myth has sort of been heading. The foliage gets like very, very thick. But all around you, you can see just the forest shifting.
Hmm. Are we heading? So are we heading in the direction of the smoke?
No, you're heading sort of southwest right now, and it's dead south.
So, do we reckon that I could like get to the like get to the foliage and then like redirect over towards the smoke?
Yeah, they're in roughly the same direction. So the thicker foliage is like, it would be a detour. It wouldn't be as easy as a dead shot, but you could head in that direction, and then find a way to orient yourself and turn.
Okay. In that case, I'll climb back down the tree.
Yeah, make me a D10 roll as you're climbing back down the tree.
3.
3. As you're sort of clambering down, you pause as you catch sort of like a very brief flash of orange on a branch adjacent to you. And as you turn and look, it's only for a moment as its wings have sort of closed back up. You see a small, kind of moth-like little butterfly.
That's
The
nice.
outsides of its wings are completely sort of brown, and you wouldn't notice it on the wood had it not sort of opened momentarily.
Okay. What should I do
But
with it?
it just sits there. That's just what you catch as you proceed to sort of clamber down.
Okay. I get to the bottom and I'll tell everyone about all of this.
Yeah, you get to the bottom, and they both nod. That is probably a good direction to head if you want to catch up with this friend of yours. If, as you said, she is looking for boss gates, she might be broadening her search area. I'm not sure if these things would only be in the temple. But if you're looking for plants, the plants probably do not move, whereas she might.
I nod, so I think we should just head south then.
All right.
Yeah, so
Well,
that's what we'll do.
lead the way. Maybe another athletics check just to see how quickly you begin sort of trudging through the thick foliage. You start sort of traveling along what looks like a bit of a crushed route, where like clearly other people have trekked through here, but it very quickly transitions to like untreaded ground.
18.
Uh, yeah. As you're wandering, you're sort of making small talk with Nikki when sort of behind you, there's Myth is sort of stopped, uh, and you hear sort of like a whoosh sort of sound as she seems to like uh snake her hand into a bush lightning fast, and grab something and sort of begins struggling to sort of pull it out, and she goes, can someone give me a hand, please?
Mm-hmm. Okay, help.
Make a strength check.
What's she doing? Oh no, I rolled a 7.
Oh, okay, that's gonna increase the DC. Well, her strength is pretty fucking good. Let's see. Just about. You both sort of like you grab her, and immediately you feel just like a strange yanking sensation. But with like one final pull, there's a deep sort of snap, and you see dark, almost like twig-like vines whoosh, pull back further into the foliage. And Myth from where she's sort of like starfished out on the ground, sits up and holds a very small black vine in her hand. Ah, I thought I saw one of the fuckers. They're a bit weaselly, but I thought this might help you.
A black vine?
Yes, yeah, they're we use them at the temples. They're kind of they're like the glass flowers, but a bit better. They drain spark.
Hmm.
You're probably allowed to keep anything you don't sell, so perhaps it would help your mother.
I nod. Thanks.
You're welcome. It is good to look out for friends who have an interest in learning about the faith. Yeah, far and few between.
So the black vine. I have one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like a strength was part of a bush. Okay. Is it like alive or?
They're strange. The glass flowers, they can be cultivated outside of the gates, but they are weaker when they are so. These things, they can only be found in the gates. You cannot grow them outside for whatever reason. They seem to actively avoid people.
Okay.
But we use them quite frequently. My grandmother, she runs one of the churches that offer healing to travelers. So I've seen them around.
Um. With, I guess with that, I'll kind of like shove it into my bag, and be like, well, it's probably best we keep walking.
Mm. And you continue making your way sort of southwards. How are you trying to approach this? Are you trying to go as fast as you can, or are you trying to be a bit cautious?
That's a hard one because on one hand, I'm thinking like obviously getting there quickly means that we might arrive, but I don't want to get ambushed by her either. So I'd say cautious is probably the best.
Okay. As maybe a stealth check then. As you're following this path, very occasionally you begin walking. It's very rough terrain, and occasionally you get stuck in mud, or there's just tangled vines that you have to sort of crush down with your feet before you can really make much progress. At random points, you occasionally find what almost looks like carved tribal spears, or like small. It almost looks like human crafted effigies made out of sort of woven sticks and branches. Um, but you eventually reach the sort of clearing that you saw, and make pretty good time. And it's as you're sort of like getting to a point where the trees are thinning that you hear the sound of sort of shallow running water, and quite distinctly a sort of sound.
Hmm.
What was your strength check? Not strength check, your stealth check.
My stealth check, I can make that for you, is a 16.
A 16 is just about enough. As you guys sort of stop just before heading out into this little clearing where you can see a sort of shallow river covered in sort of like, oh, sorry, pardon me, covered in almost like water lily looking flowers, quietly runs through this like break in the jungle. And huge creatures are sort of slowly lumbering their way through, splashing in the water. And you come across this. You see four very large, sort of elephant looking creatures. They've got sort of like small, at least the four you can see have four very small, sort of stubby looking tusks. And with them seem to be a number of sort of like infant versions of these creatures. But it is as you're sort of watching, just managing to stay low and out of sight, a doof, doof, as you see this huge six-tusked one come sort of lumbering past you, and so low in the undergrowth it doesn't seem to see you as its ears sort of poof, beat a few bugs away from its body, and you can see embedded in its tusks are a fair number of crystalline shards, as it seems to be sort of patrolling this group of creatures as they're lumbering past. And what's your passive perception?
My passive perception is, I think it's 12, right? Because it's just 10 plus your perception, which is plus 2.
Mm-hmm.
Although I must say, I'm not sure if I want to fight these elephants. They're friend-shaped.
The little ones, most certainly friendship. You watch as two of them sort of begin splashing around in the water towards each other, and as one sort of gets a little bit close, it's sprayed in the face by its tiny little trunk, and the other one sort of like rolls over into the shallow water. And they
Thanks,
are
guys.
quite cute.
um, yeah, they're adorable. I don't want to fight them. I would, yeah. So I guess we'll just try to go round, right? Like keep a fair distance and avoid them.
Yeah, absolutely. But can you still make me that perception check there?
Yeah, I'll do that. 17.
17. That is enough. As you're watching these things and sort of like figuring out your route to give them sort of like a wide berth and go around them, you catch across the way, on the other side of the river, something dark shifting in the bushes. And it doesn't like, no one else seems to sort of notice this unless you point it out to them, including the other sort of like elephant creatures as they're slowly lumbering down, sort of across this river. You can probably wait it out. You notice a shift of movement.
Is that the one on the map?
Yeah.
Does it look like the person we're looking for?
It looks bigger, but you only really make out a sort of dark shape.
Does it look like a predator?
You don't know. You just catch its presence. And you see you see like a rustling, and then it's like the foliage stops.
Ominous.
and these creatures continue to sort of make their way down along this river. But you catch that there might be something in the area to be wary of.
I tell the
As
others.
they nod and seem a little more on alert.
Mm-hmm.
As you continue to sort of wander, do you wait for them to move past, or are you going to take the initiative and sort of move around?
I think I'll take the initiative and move up and around.
You do. And a few minutes later, you do sort of hear distantly a series of birds seemingly taking off from the trees in the opposite direction, but you're too far away to catch anything that goes on or any sounds. Uh, as you're making your way through, uh, just make me an investigation check.
12.
12. You wander for a little bit, and it's as you're sort of scouring an area looking for stuff that you catch out of the corner of your eye up on a sort of like the ground is starting to sort of raise up, and half covered by like a small overcrop. You can see that plume of smoke sort of kicking up a small ways away. You can smell it more than you can really see it, as just sort of like the dregs are drifting up against the dark backdrop of stone.
Does it still look like there's a camp there?
You'd have to go and investigate it. You're sort of down below it, and it's like 10, 15 foot up, but there are sort of vines and stuff hanging over the edge of the rockwork. It would be an annoying but doable climb.
Okay. I guess I'll try it.
Yeah. Make me an athletics.
Sure.
I won't. You don't need to make me athletics. You climbed a tree earlier. You're fine. You make your way up it, and it is just like a tangled mass of vines. They're similar to the mangrovey vines that you saw back in the temple, and they do crunch a little bit as you make your way up. It's very clear that this camp area was chosen as in sort of like it's very like in a defensive. If someone tried to climb up here stealthily, it would be pretty hard with the sort of creaking and crunching that these vines make.
Oh, so you're telling me that
But
they'll probably know I'm going to be there when I get to the top.
well, you get to the top, and you find sort of the remains of a half-covered campfire. You can see sort of scuffles in the ground where clearly someone was moving around, but no one is here.
I'll investigate.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe another investigation.
6. Where
You're
are
you're looking around. You see clearly marks of footsteps, but you can't really make out if it was maybe a group or an individual. It all just looks like a mess of sort of like foliage. But Nikki turns around and points at one sort of like footprint in the ground. And she goes, "That's not a human footprint." And you look down and you see it almost looks like a handprint, but it's very misshapen. It's got sort of like the fingers are too short, and it's much too big to be a human handprint. And as you look around, you begin to see sort of like maybe 2 or 3 sets of these shuffling around. And Myth sort of holds a hand up as you begin to hear sort of a rustling from the trees above you.
Are they like monkeys?
Well, you're the first to hear the sort of like and catch a glint of metal in the trees above you. As you see a set of 2 small sort of blue eyes looking down at you. and there's a very small, almost humanoid face, uh, surrounded by sort of white fur. As you see a small kind of maybe like a baby gorilla-looking creature toying with something in the trees above you.
What's it time with?
You're not entirely sure, but it seems to be both sort of like watching you and toying with whatever it's got.
I'll be like, I think they're above us in the trees. Maybe monkeys?
Should I try and get it down, maybe? And Nikki's like, "Don't worry, I got it." And she spins a coin into her
Wait.
finger and begins sort of aiming at it.
We don't know if it's what its deal is yet.
What, are you planning on having a conversation with it?
No, we don't know if it's friend or foe. We don't know if we even need to fight it.
Hmm.
We need to be quick here. Engaging in combat constantly isn't going to be, speedy.
Maybe we could give it some food?
I nod. We could, but again, to what end?
I don't know, might get it a little closer. At least we could see what it's got on it.
That's true.
I have a few berries from the other day. I've yet to sell.
See if it works.
And she rummages around in the bag. You see she pulls out those similar look. I'm gonna change music, sorry. Give me a second.
Okay.
You see she pulls out those sort of like similar reddish, sort of bubbly, orangey berries that you found the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And she sort of she palms half and she gives you half. I'm not particularly good with animals, but I can give it a go, unless you want to try.
Do I think I'm better than she is? I don't really know, right?
You have no idea. What's Veer's experience with animals been, do you reckon?
Not much, I doubt.
Livestock in the city, especially, is like very far and few between. You have like there are oxen and there are horses, but they're definitely like meant for the higher, like mid and high town.
Yeah, like, I've seen them. I just haven't really,
I think the most you've probably experienced are like scraggly street cats and like maybe chickens, which run a little bit loose in Lowtown.
I think you should probably take this one.
Alright, well, I'll give it a go. And she moves sort of to the over towards the base of a tree and sort of stands up on it as best she can. And she'll make a little animal handling check. Ooh, 12. You see she sort of holds out the food and goes,
Can I aid her though?
yeah, you can aid her. How would you like to aid her?
I guess I'll like wave over to it to get its attention.
Yeah, you do. And as you sort of like get its attention, it seems significantly more interested as it's sort of like you see it grabs the branch and sort of hangs off of it with two arms, and you can see what looks like almost two sort of nubby, smaller prehensile arms underneath it, as it begins to sort of look down at you with a bit of a tilted head and swing its little legs around. And and Myth sort of goes, hello, would you like some food? You can have these if I can see what you have. And this thing quite curiously sort of swings down with less fear than you would expect an animal to have of people. And it perches itself sort of on the branch above her. And you can make me a perception check if you'd like, as it sort of begins to sort of study the berries in her hand and reach down towards it.
11.
11. You see that at this close, In a third hand, it is holding what looks like a small metal dagger with a purple sort of wrapping around its hilt.
I see.
As you know, Myth is sort of going. Can we have that, please? You can. This is a trade. Can you do a trade? And it sort of swipes down, grabs the entire sort of like bundle of berries, and almost with like it sort of peels its lips back a little bit to reveal big fangs and sort of almost like a grin, as it begins to sort of cackle and swing back through the trees, heading south.
Well, at least I got a
Well,
glimpse of what it was holding.
it wasn't really a good trade, but I've had worse encounters with beasts. I certainly prefer it to the snakes where I come from.
I nod. I imagine so.
What did it look like it was holding?
It was a dagger. Seemed
Ah.
to be the dagger the person was looking for. Perhaps
Do you
they had
think
an
they-
encounter. Perhaps she was raided a little bit.
Well, that could be good for us. She might be a little more worn than we first expected.
True. I'm gonna look at the ground. Maybe make like a survival check or something. Or try and look for a like a set of tracks that seem to be leaving.
Yeah, you can. You can look sort of amidst the scuffle.
Which seems to be like her fighting against Monka. Does anyone help me with this? Or
Yeah, Nikki will give you assistance.
nice. So I got a 13.
You can't really make much of the tracks. It's all kind of scuffles in the dirt. However, what you do note is that most beasts don't leave like a blood trail.
Mhm.
It seems, but you also don't see any red blood here, which means that if they did get into an altercation, she's at least not that injured.
Right. But we also don't know where she's gone.
No, you're not super sure where she's gone. You said maybe she was with the Silver Shield boy before?
I nod. That's true.
Did they mention that there was anywhere that they were heading?
Oh. They did mention something. But what did they say? Something about they found a nest.
You can make me a history check if you'd like.
Oh, dang it. But I remember. I just can't remember. They said something like we went to the west and found a thing on the beach or something. Like a nest. I can't remember. Oh. You're really gonna bully me? Okay.
I'm sorry, baby.
The heck? The 20.
You're fine. You know that they mentioned that they'd found a beast nest down south, and by the sounds of things, they were looking at rebuilding their forces before going to get it. They were trying to find more people to come with them to hit it.
Oh, what? Sorry?
Just down south is all you call,
Yeah. There was a-
which is the direction you're heading.
Yeah, I guess we'll just keep going that way then.
Yeah, you head sort of south. Myths suggests maybe following the little guy.
What, the monkey?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's taken one of her daggers, it might be, after a second one.
Okay. So hold on. So where exactly? Oh my god, my brain is again scrambled. So this.
Oh no, I'm
so,
sorry.
No, it's okay. So they said they found what with the 20?
So they said they'd found some kind of beast nest down south.
Right. I don't know if that's the monkeys or not.
No, but you know that the monkeys had a dagger with a purple binding around it.
That's her dagger. Sure.
you also know that she camped here, which is southward of the original temple.
Yeah.
And you know that the terrain further on gets a little more sort of craggy and rocky.
So it's safe to assume that she's probably gone this way.
She's probably heading in this direction.
Okay. Well then, yeah, I guess we'll go this way.
Okay. You begin heading on, and it's you catch sort of like what starts out as almost like the distant chatter of monkey calls that get slowly both less sparse but also louder. Sorry, less frequent even, but louder. When to the point where as you're sort of getting towards these sounds, they get very, very deep. The sort of sounds that you can almost sort of like feel in your gut. And you begin to see amidst sort of like the stonework, bits of stonework with kind of shifting. Again, you catch it out of the corner of your eye, what almost looks like lettering that skitters away.
I look for
You can make me a little investigation check if you'd like.
Yeah, that's it. 19.
19. You begin looking around, and you find like ever more and more frequently as you're heading southward, more little chunks of ruin begin to sort of pop up. And it's as you sort of like make your way around a very large tree and look into a small... It's not quite a cave, but it's very much a rocky overhang that pulls back towards you. You're met with a large crumbling stone archway that looks like it leads up on one of two sort of doorways into a temple that is very sort of open roofed. And in the odd sort of the front of that, you see a large sort of like slab of this sort of writing. Can you make me just an arcane check, please?
An 11.
Okay. Myth, you see, sort of regards the writing with a bit of a fascinated look. And she goes, This was, like the one in the temple proper. I was trying to translate it for a little while, but it is a jumbled mess of gate script. And as you're looking at it, what was your arcane check, sorry?
11.
I don't do it for you. You see this writing. Again, for a moment, there's almost like a migraine-y feeling as the corners of your eyes feel like fuzzy. And this writing begins to shift. And line by line, it begins to make sense to you. And you can see what looks like a small poem carved into the stone. The others don't seem to be reacting to this at all. As you read, the gate is built by heart alone. Though hearts be held by flesh and flesh and bone by earth and stone. The door we make when locks we break will bridge the waters roads to take. The stone that stands to staunch the flood, freedom found by toil and blood. By stone betrayed the seal is made, the hands that hold, the heart that prayed. The stairs it shaped, the debts it paid, the gate is shaped, the keystone laid.
Jesus. Okay. I'm really hoping that isn't like a big riddle because I'm going to be so lost. Could you put that in law because I do not want to make a history check in a second.
Absolutely.
Holy. Okay. I don't know why, but I think I understand it.
And like both Nikki and Myth have almost started like walking off at this point, further up the stairs, and they pause and look back at you. What do you mean?
I don't know. This kind of makes sense.
And they both give each other a bit of a look, and Nikki sort of shrugs, and Myth smiles, like you recognize the symbols, or like you can read it. Read it.
I think I can read it. Read it. It's a poem.
For God's above, how are you doing that? And she pulls out a small, almost like papyrus-looking scroll. Can you tell me what it says? This would be incredible research.
I can.
It is possible to translate this script. I know that there are scholars over in Manacle that can, but how on earth can you read it? Is it? Do you have an ability that allows you to do this?
No, it could be this thing I picked up the other day here. I said, show my arm. Or maybe, I don't know. I already said I saw some text appearing on the walls. Maybe it's just responding to me differently for some reason, I don't know. But
That's weird.
It says that the gate is built by heart alone, and that these hearts are held by flesh and bone by earth and stone. So maybe golems ahead. The door we make when locks we break. Or bridges the water roads to take. The stones that stands to staunch the flood. Freedom found by toil and blood. It's ominous. Stone betrayed, the shields made. The hands that hold, the hearts that prayed. The stairs that shaped, the desert paid. The gate shaped, the keystone laid.
That is fascinating. As she finished taking it down, I don't know if it is exactly the same, but there was inscriptions like this back in the temple proper. I wonder if it relates to any scripture that exists back in temple.
Not sure.
I will have to look into this. I was trying to avoid heading back there so soon, with all the rabble of the festival being prepared, but perhaps I will have to make a trip.
I don't know if you want me to come and read anything else, I might be able to help you. But first, we need to get this stuff back.
I agree. Let's make haste. I don't like the sounds that are coming closer. And that sort of like warbling, screaming sort of sound is definitely getting closer.
Yeah, okay. Let's head in then.
Yeah, you head up and into this temple. And I say temple, it's sort of open air. You can still see the canopy above you. And as you make your way up this little set of stairs, you look into these ruins and immediately sort of hunker down as swinging through the trees above you again is that like small little creature, and you watch as it makes its way through the trees and lands itself on what maybe at one point was like a pillar or a tower that is half crumbled and has now had like leaves and vines packed into it, and it is settled inside this like nest of leaves is a much larger ape-like creature with 4 arms who sort of reaches up and grabs the smaller one and takes it down into its lap and begins sort of like picking at little like bugs in its fur. But you hear a sudden sort of like beating sound and in a stone in a sort of like dirty clearing in the middle of this temple, two much larger, sort of muscular ones are bearing almost what looks like tusks at each other and beating their sort of like chests as they seem to be in the midst of some kind of like either dominance display or fight. And most of the other sort of like ape-like creatures around here seem to be sort of stood on the edges, similarly screaming and looking down at them. But you catch on one of them, the one that is sort of slightly larger and it has sort of like more of a grayish shock of fur down its back. Number one. On its tusk, there is a little glint of metal. And you can see what looks like a ring slid onto it. I'm going to send you the full sort of battle map because you've got a pretty good look of this area as you're sort of crouched down on these steps. And this is what you can see. On the far side, where the number one sort of jumped down to begin tussling with this other one, you could see that there is just almost like a horde of gemstones. Not gemstones, sorry, spark shards.
Okay. Hold on then, hold on. The horde of spark shards. That looks so lovely to get. I turned to the other and say, like, does it? Because I mean, she was meant to come this way. But it's because she's not here.
She definitely hasn't got to the spark shards yet, at the very least. Is that?
She's probably here somewhere, watching. Should be careful.
What do you want to do? They seem pretty distracted right now. We might be able to sneak our way around if we're smart.
Which is the one with the ring?
Number one. The one with the white letter has what looks like a small gold, and you think there's like some kind of like maybe greenish, you catch like greenish glints to it.
I want the ring. Okay, I turn and say, we should probably secure those spark shards and at least draw them out.
Are you in the mood for a fight, or those big ones look pretty tough? But I think we could take them. We just have to be careful not to get surrounded by the smaller ones, I think.
You reckon we could take them out without anybody else noticing?
Without anybody else noticing, that might be a bit more of a trouble. They seem quite loud.
The smaller ones first.
The smaller ones, perhaps. They all seem to be pretty distracted with, well, whatever is going on there. And Nikki sort of nods. Wrestling match. It seems like have her hand on her chin watching this.
Okay, Nikki. Your number one priority during this entire encounter is to make sure that we don't get ambushed by this thief. They're almost certainly watching in somewhere here. And they'll be probably focusing on the spark shards, if nothing else. So just keep an eye on those shards. Keep an eye on everything else.
I'll watch our back, don't you worry. And also, if we need a means of distracting them, if they are interested in shiny things, I do happen to have a pretty, particular set of skills, he says, sort of pinging a coin up in the air slightly and catching it.
It's true. So one is like up on the wall.
Yeah, one is sort of like clambered up on the wall and is sort of leaning it over it almost and watching 1 and 2. Almost all of them are, apart from really 6 and 7, who are sort of, they seem to be bedded down. And 5, who seems to be looking after one of the small ones.
Okay. Ooh. How do we do this? I think. Oh, okay.
If you'd like, you can start by rolling initiative.
Should I?
Yeah, just for turn-based, just for
Okay.
helping with order of things.
Okay, 10.
Okay. Wonderful. You can proceed as normal for now. It's just good to have.
Freaking almost. Okay. And then I think I'm probably gonna like try stealth over to 1, I guess, and try and like pull them back in and knock them out. I think is that the play?
If that's what you're doing.
I don't know.
If you like to stealth, if you want to stealth this, go for it.
Well, the thing is that the option is stealth or go loud, right?
Mhm.
But going loud is probably not the best idea. And I can't think of anything else to do.
I can. Shit. If Nikki watches our back, I can probably help you with number 1 if you want to try and be quiet up there.
It could be a good idea.
All right. Let's do that then.
Okay. This is so fucked, man. I'm gonna like 100% just like we're gonna aggro everyone in this room immediately. Oh, what do I do? Am I being super dumb? I need to think. Oh, also I think you paused your music. Hello. Oh no. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Something crashed.
Oh no.
It's okay, I'm back. I think you can hear me.
Okay. I can.
Alright. I don't know if I'm being
You good?
super stupid here.
No, there's no wrong answers, baby. You can do whatever you want.
I know, but there are more stupider answers. Okay. I'm thinking, like, what can I do? What's at my disposal right now? So, 6 and 7 are asleep, effectively. 4 is looking north. 1 is looking to the east. If I were to walk across to the east side and try and head up north to get to where the spark shards are, then I'd almost certainly be seen by 1. Although they're not directly paying attention, it's possible that I'll be seen.
Yeah, they're also down. So where you are now, imagine that area is sort of slightly raised. They're in the pits, right? They're in what was maybe once a courtyard.
Two and 1 are fighting. I mean the small one, to be clear.
Small one, yes.
Yeah. So
you'd have to sneak past them.
Yeah, if I go, however, behind small 1 and keep heading north, I don't know if 5 will see me. And 2 is possibly able to see us, but I'm not sure. It depends how stealthy we are. But either way, like, getting up to those spark shards, that's going to be useful eventually, but it's not like the end game. The end game is we fight 1 and win, like the big one, and win. Because I want to get that ring, because that seems cool. Now, because that's just loot coded, and I want that. Now, there is, like, the thing that really is making me anxious is this concept of, you know, there's like a thief here maybe. Like, we were tracking a thief and then we can't find them. And, like, but they're almost certainly here, right? Am I insane for thinking this?
No. You're thinking what you're thinking.
And we don't know what their ability is, other than they suddenly managed to get somewhere. So it's possible that they can teleport or fly, and this place has no roof. So they're almost certainly watching from up high. So I think the first thing I want to do is see if I can see them. I'm gonna look up.
Sure. Maybe a perception check.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask the others to do the same.
Okay.
21. Right, we're just looking for this woman.
Yeah, you do be doing that. Looking up, you and none of your companions see anything.
So she rolled better than a 21. That's ominous. It's not unreasonable, but it's bad. Okay. I almost want to just sit here and wait for them to show their hand, but I just know that they won't.
How you see one or two are sort of continuing their fight, and one is most definitely winning. This two is getting sort of pushed back into the ground.
Okay, I'm going to. I guess we head up and try and stealthily take one out.
Wonderful. You are, I think, 35 feet away, I believe, from one, right?
Yeah, so I have 35 feet.
15, 20, 25, 30. Oh, you have 35 movement. Wonderful. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So Myth is a short ways behind you. She can't quite get up to one.
Okay, then I'll probably hold back a little bit. So we probably move like 10, 15 feet forwards so that she can get there, and then like on the turn after we'll rush up.
Okay. Maybe you've already made me a stealth check, right?
No.
Oh, then make me a stealth check.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Wait, actually, stealth is more than that. 23. Pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, you both sort of edge. You wait for a moment where sort of the big one slams down on number two's head, and just the whole, I want to say crowd, the monkey crowd goes just fucking wild, right? 6 and 7 are immediately sort of distracted, and their attention is sort of roused towards the central area, but they don't move for now. Both you and Myth sort of get up just behind one, enough to make an ambush attack if you would like.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Make me an attack roll.
Stressed. Okay. Here we go. Oh no. We are going to use Blade of the Crushing Wave. Blade of the Crushing Wave. Where, yeah, 1d20 plus 5. 1d20 plus 5 is my hit roll. It is an 18.
An 18 will hit.
Okay. I believe my damage is the following. I deal 11 damage.
Okay. You deal 11 damage. Describe to me the attack that you make.
I just spin the blade around with a wooden blade, and I just try and slam them in the side and then down to the ground, so they're knocked unconscious effectively, or
you
just killed in silently.
You sort of swing into the side of this thing, and it is knocked off of the edge of this little wall that it was perched on, and as it's sort of it's pinned down under your blade, and its second set of arms sort of reach up and grab it. It's not dead, but as you sort of have that moment of oh fuck, I didn't quite get it, you see Myth come in. She goes to try and strike at its head, and it moves to the side, and then she sort of brings her palm in for a second strike under its sort of jaw, and the creature sort of falls limp before it's able to pull its sort of lips back and scream. And she goes, "That was close."
That's a nice technique.
Thank you.
Okay, that's one down. These don't look like they have cores, do they?
They do.
Should we take the cores? I ask her.
Do you think we're going to end up taking out all of them? Is it worth getting them all down, or no? Perhaps if we're trying to be quiet, this might be a good chance.
Okay. Well, if we killed them all, then we'd be able to loot them safely.
Yeah, we might probably have a better chance at looting them too. We're in a rush. I wouldn't want to butcher anything.
That's true. My main fear is that they'll be stolen, though.
Ah. Shit. It is up to you, I think. I don't. I'm more of a bums and staff kind of girl. I don't really have any blades.
Okay. We'll leave them for now.
Alright.
We'll move up to number 5.
And you see Nikki will move up a little bit. You move up to number 5. 5, 10, 15, 20. How are you sort of approaching this? You can make me another stealth check, as Nikki sort of posted herself up back at the sort of little entranceway, and she's got her eyes beaded back behind you, and also sort of across the way, sort of where a bunch of the other pillars are sticking up. She's keeping an eye on 6 and 7.
Yeah.
And 5 is sort of raised up. They're like sort of like 5 foot above you, and they seem to be just sort of like plucking small like bugs and beetles out of this small one's fur, as it's sort of like both with its hands and feet twirling around this little dagger. Sorry, I don't know bot commands.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Just resizing it to put on the thing. Okay. So that's the one that's been like twirling around, right?
This seems to be an adult and the little one that you saw before, but I would like you to make me another stealth check.
Okay, this could go poorly. Yeah, 11.
As you're both sort of creeping up on these creatures, the big one doesn't notice you. The little one, however, seems to catch sort of the edge of Myth's sort of like white garb, and sort of turns around to look at you guys. It hasn't made a noise yet, as it sort of like paused, but it's definitely clocked you. What are you doing? You can hear it sort of curiously and not immediately alarmed, just sort of like,
fuck, I don't know, man. Rushing in and attacking them is probably bad, right? Oh, I don't know.
it's up to you, baby.
Did I kill the children? What are you making me do? Fuck, what did that freaking goddamn hold the line there a moment. Let me just do some quick thinking.
I'm gonna need to press you for what you're doing, baby. As this little guy sort of locks onto you, he does sort of seem to start wriggling a little bit.
Okay, I'll head into that freaking zone and we'll fight them. Let's fight 5.
Sure, yeah, go on then. You are gonna get a surprise round against the big one. You don't get a surprise round against the little guy, but he does move after you.
that's still bad. Okay. I strike the big one for a 15 to hit.
That'll hit.
Okay. I deal again a red roll, 13 damage.
Myth's gonna come in with one of her palm strikes, see if she can cut you some stuff. Again, a similar sort of situation. You sort of bang them at the throat, and she comes in and sort of finishes that. The little one, alarmed, sort of runs to the edge of the sort of wall, opens its mouth as if to scream, to sort of like alert the rest of them, and you see a coin just through it, and it sort of like falls backwards. And sort of across the way, Nikki, you've seen Nikki has moved up sort of behind a pillar and gives you a bit of a nod.
Nod back. Okay. That was close.
Too close.
Then we'll move up. So actually, what's in this little alcove? Is there anything interesting?
There just sort of seems to be a nest. This just seems to be sort of like a beast nest.
Then we'll have
Can you make me another perception check, please?
Yes. God. Why Toaster Ball? Why do you hate me? It's not one. I rolled a 3.
Yeah, everything looks sort of clear as you see Nikki will sort of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. She'll sort of come up behind one of the pillars and join you guys.
What's going on?
I've checked her. That's not Nikki's voice. My apologies. I've checked out behind us. I think we're all clear. I'm pretty sure we're alone here. It's just these creatures. 6 and 7 seem like they're gonna get up and move in a little bit. I think their fighting's almost done. Number 2 looks pretty beaten up.
Oh, I'm so fucked, bro. Oh. Can I? Oh dear. Yeah. Oh. Can I look her over? She is Nikki, right?
Yeah, you can make me an investigation check.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, how could she be beaten? If her brother had walked up behind her, would she have even turned around? Do you know what I mean? Maybe this person just came in the front door. They didn't fly. They can just be other people. A 12.
A 12.
Would I know?
You start studying Nikki, and as she's sort of saying, it looks all clear, she sort of looks back to you, and you look into her eyes. Seems like Nikki eyes. You look at her sort of like scraggly hair and her demeanor. She seems to be standing the same way. And she kind of gives you a bit of a weird look and goes, Are you alright? I haven't.
For fuck's sake. Am I going insane?
You look. Is your illness getting bad?
Nikki.
Yeah?
Wait.
Dude, are you fucking good? We can go if this is like too much on you. I don't want you dropping dead on me.
No. I'm okay. Oh, I'm fine.
What are you thinking?
Just what was the thing we fought yesterday? Just out of curiosity, a little test to save my mind.
The slime?
Yeah, the slime. That's it. Okay. I just had a horrible thought, and I'm glad that we can rule that out. Okay, we should head up For the north.
You see Myth just puts a hand on your shoulder and has a look of like, I'm sorry on her face. And she seems to assume that your illness may be affecting you.
Maybe it is. I will head further up north. What the fuck?
Sure. 5, 10, 15,
I'm way
20,
too paranoid.
30. You move another sort of, you stealth another 30 foot up. 20,
And that one really fucked with me there. I'm now like, where's she? She's here.
You see sort of 6 and 7 begin to sort of move.
I will
As
say, like, do you see what I mean though? Like, do you see my theory?
Oh yeah, no, I completely see your theory. Don't worry. As you sort of get up, and you see sort of like there are some areas here where there's a bunch of vines sort of tangling down into this area. Another sort of route you could maneuver through if you needed to.
Yeah.
As you're stealthing. So what's your sort of plan?
I'm gonna look into that, like, over into that square coordinate, and is anything in there?
Which one? Oh, this sort of little
yeah.
tower area. This one's actually slightly lower down. You can see onto it. Mostly just a tangled mass of vines. You think you see like the beginnings of where they're packing down more leaves to make another nest.
Yeah.
But nothing's in it at the moment.
Also, on the updated map, I guess 1 and 5 are just like bodies, right?
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'll grey them out.
We should rush too. Nikki, does it look like they're gonna come this way? If they find... Actually, could you move the body of 1 and put it into the same little nook with 5?
Yeah, I can go do that.
Just don't want to get spotted by accident.
Alright. Try not to be too loud. And she will... 5, 10, 15, 20, 25... she will start dragging 1 over sort of towards that nook.
Okay.
And you want to try and get to 2.
Yeah, I want to just like move around, but then get ready to rush over for like that thing.
Yeah, you move up to the little corner area. Can you make me just one final sort of stealth check? Getting up around this corner. As number 2 seems like, whilst invested in this, they also seem to be keeping half an eye on this. Like
23.
They've got they're sort of like glancing over towards the nest sort of area, a little more on alert than the others. 23. Yeah, you managed to get your way around there, and number 2 doesn't clock you at all. Number 2 is sort of looking over towards one of the other sort of little tower areas. And you see it sort of like lifting its head and almost stood back on its hind. As you look over to where number 3 sort of used to be, you know there was another one sort of scurrying around over there, but it seems to have maybe moved.
Is she on the other side?
It's as you think this, that there's a and a dagger from a place that you can clock strikes into number 1.
The big one.
And it lets out the big one, and it lets out a large roar.
It's going after my ring too.
And all of the fucking creatures are suddenly like on alert, sort of jumping around. You think that 6, 7, and 4 don't really know sort of where to go, as number 1 is sort of reaching around onto its back trying to get it, and number 2 immediately sort of like lowers itself to the ground thinking like, oh fuck, did I do that? But then sort of like seeing that everyone else is looking around, sort of gets back to its feet. It's a little more battered than the others. But they haven't clocked you. So you guys, you get some... thank you.
Okay.
As immediately screams sort of begin breaking out.
I'm like, God damn that woman. They're gonna cause me so much grief. Okay, let's keep it. Okay, there's 2 prizes here. Number 1, which I'm kind of fine to ignore. and this number 2 that we're with. We may as well take them out now, because we don't want them to send out any alerts. But number 3 is missing, and that's probably where she is. So quickly, we're gonna attack 2. If we're next to them.
Okay, hell yeah. You 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Yes, you reach number 2.
Yeah.
I say Myth is with you, and you can have both moved up within 5 foot.
Slam. 22 to hit.
22 to hit, 22 will do it.
And then, this time, boom, 18 damage.
18 damage. You sort of slam down into this little monkey, and again it lets out sort of like a roar and a scream, but it's sort of drowned out by the chaos that's now sort of erupting. At it, number 1 does sort of like turn to look up, but it doesn't. You don't think that they can see you from their sort of lowered position immediately. It's not dead.
Oh.
It's looking pretty fucking rough though. You heard a crunch underneath your weapon as it is sort of like writhing around, and you see it sort of grab its hand around a rock.
Okay. Get it, Myth.
Well, she would, but she's not next.
Well, it's okay. This is a surprise round.
I guess technically speaking, it is. Yeah. She's not. It's also not a surprise round for just you guys.
Oh, fuck off. Where is she? Where is she?
You see for a moment a purple sort of flash sort of well up behind 2 as its shadow deepens, and something strikes out. You see what looks like a dagger for half a second, and then it pulls back in.
Wait, which 2?
And misses. Big 2.
Okay.
And big 2, it seems that like through the shadow, something has made a strike but missed.
Interesting. I see
however,
how ability works. Okay.
It did miss. In a direction that caught his attention, and it goes. And number 2 is also now sort of looking up towards where you guys are.
Interesting. Good. That's great.
Myth is also going to take an attack. Because now it is her turn. Sorry, I hope this is okay.
What do you mean?
12. I hope it's not. So it's not bad. Myth just about hits, and she cracks down. Her min damage will do this. So number 2 is out.
Nice.
And
I am having fun, but don't worry. Okay, right. We're gonna skirt over to the fragments if possible.
You can't with the remaining movement that you have on this turn.
Yeah, that's fine. But we're gonna try to be stealthy. But I'm just telling you where I'm trying to go. My plan is pick up those fragments. Then I'm gonna head towards the right side, specifically that like top right fragment where 3 was. Because I reckon she's fucking crouched down in that little corner, like shadow attacking people.
Yeah, you can do. First of all, the little monkeys are gonna move there. Monkeys are going to move. What is your range on this? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60 is 6, 7, and 4 are going to dash. 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Number 6 is going to, you see it also sort of like scrabble around towards you, and it is going to grab a little rock and just hurl a rock at you.
Wait, hang on. Give me an updated map. I feel like I want to know where we are.
I will. Give me just a second. Does a 21 hit?
21 might hit, but how do I know where we are?
It's run on over.
Let me see this map.
Doop. So they've sort of run down, and number 1 and number 2 sort of now looking upwards have sort of directed them all sort of up towards the north section. Number 6 was the only one that actually succeeded on a perception check.
Shit. Okay. A 21. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. It doesn't.
4 and 7 ran towards ways up.
So. 21 is such an annoying number. You know what I mean? I am going to dodge roll and move a little bit closer.
Mm-hmm. Make the dexterity check.
Yeah. So it's dex plus, so 1 to 20 plus 6. It's not impossible.
It's not impossible. You got this. You got this.
17.
Oh, it's not enough though.
Oh, that's really
so
upsetting.
that's times 1.5, right?
Yeah.
You take 11 points of bludgeoning damage as this 4-armed gorilla-looking creature grabs a rock off of the ground and just hurls it in your direction with an alarming amount of force.
11 points of damage.
And as you and Myth are sort of basically going to take cover behind this one pillar, it just cracks you in the shoulder.
I love that for me. I love that. Okay. Youch. That's a big hit of damage. So it just plinks my soldiers. I try and roll out of the way. Great. Anything that's, by the way, so why it's like it's funny to me. If it's 20 or below, I can guaranteed evade it. But everything that's like been above my hit roll so far has been like 21 plus, or it's been like massively below. So that's why I'm laughing. But anyway, yeah. Okay, so. So who sends it?
So it would be number 1, who's gonna run towards one of the climby things, and then Nikki, who's Nikki gonna take a shot at? Nikki's gonna take a shot at the one who took a shot at you. And she.
I guess our cover's been blown though, right?
Somewhat, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I did.
No, it's okay.
She did, however, fucking roll a heads, which is based, so she gets. You watch as the number 6 sort of hurls this towards you. There is a glint of metal as a coin bursts through sort of like the joint between its elbow and forearm, and this thing begins like screaming and writhing on the ground. It's not dead, but it does look pretty rough. As you can see sort of like movement around from where Nikki is.
Yeah. Okay.
She'll 10, 15, 20, and then try and hunker down there. And sorry, I haven't sent you a map yet, have I? Which takes us back to your turn.
Oh shit! It's really up here, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Things are going. Oh, dude, this is going so south so quick. Are those 2x2 entities? The big boys. Will they be able to? Can they get through past the 1x1 pillars?
They're gonna have a rough time. They can, but it would be very much rough terrain. They'd have to go around the side that's exposed. They couldn't squeeze between the wall, but they could swing around the edges.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm kind of in a bad spot here. What do I do? Okay. I'm going to dash.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, no. That would be splitting the party so bad. Okay. Okay. It's okay. In theory, we should win. I'm going to... Okay, so let me run you through my thought process. So, basically, my thought is that Nikki is on her own, and she's being engaged by quite a few other things. I could dash and get to the tower above where 4 is currently, right? Which is where I currently believe there to be a little ninja woman who I'd like to beat up. But if that little ninja woman is there, then, you know, obviously, I could dash to get there, and that would be fine. But then I'd be fighting another person one-on-one, but also I'd have left Myth behind, and, you know, I'd also have a big monkey chasing me, right? So then I'd be like, I'd be able to get an eye on the target, but also I'd like have the issue of being attacked and like isolated. Now I could instead just attack 1 and put myself centrally at the top there by all the spark shards. Benefit for doing so is that because I have all the loot, she'll probably come for me, right? But that would mean directly engaging 1 now, who we know is strong. But you know what?
You'd win.
I'd win. Let's do it. I'm going to run in.
Okay. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Advanced movement. We're built different. As sort of like 2 and then 3 arms sort of begin to pull this
look
thing.
at those shard cards. What are they? Are they assorted or?
They're assorted, yeah. There's just a huge fucking smattering of them. It looks like several cores have been looted and like hoarded here.
So much money. Okay, I'm gonna consume them all.
Instantly.
Well, that would probably kill me, right? So you probably shouldn't do that.
Almost certainly.
Okay. Okay, very well.
You can make me just a free perception check if you'd like.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Okay.
You remember that ruling we made where, you know, like, you can't multi-hit large creatures?
Yep.
I remember that. Perception check. 21.
21. She. Oh.
Anyway.
You
Can only roll
charge
up
up to
bro.
number 1. She has had to reroll since maneuvering. You see, out of the corner of your eye, the pillar to your sort of northeast.
She's right there, bro.
You see fucking this, as there is definitely sort of like very well hidden in the shadow of this pillar, sort of pressed up against it. You can definitely see a humanoid figure.
I'll let Nikki know.
How are you doing this? You just gonna yell?
Oh, dude, it'd be so tempting. Can she see me?
Nikki? Yeah, she can see you.
What about the person behind the pillar? Are they watching me?
You have no idea. You've only caught their silhouette.
Yeah. Hang on. Where was I before? Can I reposition?
I don't know.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. I could be 1 tile up.
You could be 1 tile up if you want, sure.
Although actually, no, then I wouldn't be able to see them, right?
Probably not.
Okay, I'll stay here. I'll stay here.
I'd say stay where you are, because your positioning was sort of what enabled you to make
Yeah,
the check.
exactly. That's fine. Yeah. She moves before Myth does.
Yeah.
And when does Nikki move?
Nikki moves before you.
Before
So
me.
she moves
she's already
before
moved.
2 and after 1. Yep.
Okay, so basically there's nothing I can say now that makes a difference. Before she moves. That's okay though. That's fine. Okay. You went silent, but I'll take. I'll attack one.
You can do whatever you want. There are no rules, baby. You can do whatever you want.
Well, there are rules, but that's okay.
There
It's
are
okay.
no rules. Yeah, make me an attack roll.
I won't say anything, but know that I know.
Yeah, you know. I know that you know.
My god. Maybe thrown off by the silhouette. I roll an 8.
You roll an 8. It sort of goes right. In fact, you go to swing this sword, and the 4th arm, as it comes up, grabs it. And you are sort of face to face with this like 4-armed gorilla creature, which I can send you a little picture of if you'd like.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. You're face to face with something that looks a little bit like this. With a large, you can see it now, a very ornate golden green gemmed ring that almost depicts like vines curling together around its tusk, and it gives a low sort of like growl.
I'll get to you.
Just like a guttural rumble. As let me know what's going on.
Yeah. Okay. It's grabbed my sword. I assume that's flavor for missing, or has it actually like fully got my sword, and that's a problem now.
It's holding your sword, but it's like not yet stabilized itself enough that it would cause a problem. It's flavor. You can pull it back and.
All right. Double and on. No, I'm joking. I can't do that. Let's see. Fuck. Probably shouldn't do that. Nothing else I can do. Changes anything? My options are limited. I bake my bonus actions into reactions. And end my turn.
Okay. The next up is I. They are going to. What are they gonna do? They're gonna 5'10". You can see them now, so I'm just gonna make them fully clear on the map. They are going to you shoot to gain a bit of a bonus. They're gonna, you see them 5-10 foot run up to the other side of this thing, sort of as it's grabbed your sword, it slips under sort of like its arm on the other side, and you see a woman with sort of like a scarf pulled up around her face. I say woman, like a young woman, about your age, with sort of long, straight, dark purple hair, and she will go in for a bit of a schnecky stab on its on the shins. 21. Very nice. Hell yeah. It needs to make me a little bit of a save. Perfect. You watch as this like figure skids. You catch the purple hair as the sort of glint of the blade slams down into the side of its shin, and you, from where it's sort of like growling face to face with you, it sort of flings its head back and growls in pain as it spins around to look at her, but its like leg sort of buckles where she's stabbed to the joint, and it is prone. And how much damage? Oh, sorry. I need to. Sorry, I'm all. I've got so many character sheets open right now. And it takes not a ton of damage, as you see just a small like splattering of blood that sort of begins to fizzle away. And she is gonna... What's she gonna do? You see for a moment the shadows deepen, and you feel air sort of shift behind you. As you feel suddenly pressed up against your back, someone else's back. She's gonna move to there.
She's teleporting through the shadows.
And you feel a back pressed up against yours, and you just hear, "Try not to miss next time." As she flicks both of her things into her hands, and she gets a small buff to her blocks that she's then going to take. And then it is Myth. What is Myth doing? What can Myth do? Myth is gonna... Ah, shit.
Boy, I'm so tempted to... She's in my AoE, bro. I could be like, I'm not gonna miss, bro. Ding, ding. But no.
10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Myth is gonna go down to Nikki. And Myth is gonna help Nikki try and tackle 2.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Because she sees that Nikki is kind of panicking on her own.
Yeah, that's fine.
As all of the monkeys begin to move. 6 is gonna take... 6 is gonna throw a rock at Myth as she goes past. And they miss. Let's see how far the others get. 7 is gonna 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. They're gonna dash to the north of you, but they have to dash so they can't make an attack. 4, now sort of alerted, is gonna 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. They're gonna run there. Followed by... You're gonna 5, 10, 15, 20. Get to these 2 ladies. Number 1 is still prone. He's gonna spend half of his movement to get up from prone. And he's gonna take a multi-attack against you. My dear lovely Veer. For an 18 to hit.
Who's this?
Number 1.
Oh, the big guy.
Yeah, as it beats his chest and lets out a roar and pulls 2 of its hands up in the air.
I'm gonna use... what did I do? 17?
An 18.
An 18.
Mm-hmm.
I will use heavy block. And they miss.
Wonderful. That raises your AC?
By 6.
Wonderful. The first strike, you bring your blade up, and you hear a sort of like uncomfortably a bit of a crunch in the wood of your training blade, but it holds fast as you move one of the fists away. And as it tries to bring down the other one, it just sort of like misses you a little bit, and the figure behind you has to sort of like shuffle out of the way a little bit too, as a spray of vines is sort of sent pinging in her direction. And that is 1's turn. Nikki's next, and with number 2 sort of clambering his way up, Nikki and Myth are both going to team up sort of as unarmed buddies, and Nikki's going to take a swing at them, which just about hits. As you see this thing sort of crest up over the top of the ruins and firmly gets a knock in the face from a fist and a sort of whoop from Nikki, followed by a look of like, ah, shit, as it slowly turns its head back towards her. And it takes a little bit of damage. She's also gonna shoot at... Who's she gonna shoot at? She's gonna take a shoot at 7, seeing a lot of them sort of build it, begin to cluster up around you. There's a... only 2. You watch a 7, as it sort of like skidded to a stop, like behind you, almost like trying to flank you. It skids and a coin bing, sort of hits its leg, and it too tumbles over itself. 7 is prone.
Excellent.
And it is your go.
Is 1 prone still?
No, 1 has stood up now. 7
Alright.
is prone though.
I'm going to attack 7.
Wonderful.
Do I go for that gambit? I don't think I do it just yet. I guess, like, according to her, I basically, like, to the person next to me, I'm like, are we good for now?
I don't know why we wouldn't be.
Alright, good. Let's deal with these guys. And then I'm gonna attack 7.
Sure.
That gives me advantage.
Give me a little bit of a check.
That's a 17 to hit.
That'll do it. That'll a little thoroughly hit.
And then I deal almost minimum damage, which is 10. To 7,
Still-
4, and 1.
Still a good chunk. Give me a description. Tell me what you're doing. Describe it to me.
I basically just do a big like overhead swing with the sword, slamming into 1, 4, and 7 in one like big arc.
Wonderful, 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 wonderful. You actually see, you take out 7 so as you sort of like make this swing. You almost like, from the damage that it's taken falling prone, as you're swinging your blade around, you almost catch it in the torso, and there's just like a sickening rip sound. As you swing around and you send a pretty heavy chunk out of 4, and 1 definitely sort of grunts and has to use a 3rd arm to restabilize itself on the edge of this building. What else is... how's it going?
I will... okay. I am going to break my bonus actions down into reactions. And there's nothing else I can do for now.
Wonderful. If that is your turn, then you are going to spend that to that. You feel almost like a shifting of wind behind you as the figure vanishes and appears up back between 4 and 1. And they will take another little shot at 1 and see if they can get it down for you again. Ooh, no, rough. They'll swing around with their dagger. You see they again go for a little strike at 1 and are unable to sort of get the hit off on them. So instead they just sort of like they almost like curse a little under their breath, and then you watch the dagger sort of flip backwards in their hand as they slam backwards into 4, and they will hit 4 for much less than they would like, but enough to take out 4. As there's another sort of like ape-like scream as 4 sort of goes to the ground, and she holds it there for a second, and needs to sort of stay there for the time being. Sorry, my Photoshop is having a moment. Please stop rotating image in Photoshop. Sorry. Do. Sorry, I'm taking too long. Okay. Then it is Myth. Myth is gonna take a couple palm strikes. You see, as she sort of like run over, she's pulled a small wooden staff off of her back. And she is going to take a little strike at 2 as she sort of whips it around. That is not how I roll that. Sorry. No. I'm sorry.
You're okay, you're okay.
She takes one strike and it sort of ducks its head underneath it. And as it sort of ducks under, she pulls it back up, spinning around, and clocks it sort of under the chin. And you see a crack as one of its tusks sort of chips off. And it is looking very fucking bruised right now. Not down yet, though. As she sort of falls back into a defensive stance, and you can see she's holding the staff in one hand and has a palm sort of flat out in front of her in the other. Next, what is 6 gonna do? 6 is in a bit of a predicament. I think 6 is gonna throw a rock at you, Veer. Because you're attacking their big old leader. 4. I assume a 4 doesn't hit. As a rock just sort of goes wide around you, and you hear sort of a frustrated scream.
AC's 15.
Wonderful. A 6 will 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Let's go 35, 40. We'll dash up next to Imogen. And then we loop back around, and Big Boy 1's going to make a multi-attack again. Can you make me a strength save, Veer?
I can. 13.
13. You see it sort of like goes to like slam one hand towards you, but it almost slows a little bit, and you catch it just in time as one of the lower sort of like prehensile hands is lunging out to grab you, and you sort of jump back just in time, and it goes wide and misses. It does, however, then swing around from that, sort of balling that hand into a fist, and strikes Imogen in the chest for a 21. She's sent tumbling onto the ground. You hear sort of like a grunt of effort as the scarf comes down, and you see sort of like the air sort of like knocked out of her as she's sort of sent to the ground. And then sorry, so many sheets. Then is Nikki. Nikki is going to do her goddamn best to finish off number 2, so she can come over and help you. And she hits. She's going to send another clock with a sort of like Myth's last sort of strike, sort of batting off one of the tusks. You see she grabs it, yanks the head down, and goes to try and plant one between its eyes. And she fucking does it. You see her sort of like just clock this thing square in the head, as it sort of like slams down onto the stonework, reaches a hand towards, but sort of like slips with most of its weight still being on the vines, and falls back down into the clearing. You're not sure if it's dead, definitely unconscious, soon to be dead. And Myth goes, "Good job." And Nikki sort of nods and goes, "You too. Best we get back over there." And they're going to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, start heading back over towards you. Number 2 is down, so it's your turn again.
Okay, who's prone?
No, so no one's prone.
No one's
That was just flavor. But 6 has come up and is now next to Purple Girl.
Okay.
Here's the map.
Okay. Let us see this.
And Nikki and Myth are making their way back over towards you.
I will move up diagonally to the right.
Up diagonally to the right. Okay.
But I don't think I can hit 6.
No, you'd have to move all the way around.
I'll just attack one for now. Any yeah, is that possible?
Yeah. I mean, you can hit one. Yeah, make an attack roll.
Bonk, 15. Is that enough?
That is enough to hit.
Really? Okay, big.
Ah.
I deal 13 damage to him. A big swing.
You do. This thing, you sort of strike it up. You make a huge sort of like, I don't want to say a gash, but you definitely sort of crack something in one of the sort of like shoulders. You see one of the limbs sort of like go a little bit limp, and it starts to sort of like not use it as much, as it seems deeply pained on one of his arms.
Nice. Okay.
And it's sort of like looking rough. You can see that its eyes, it came up here like very much coming off of the adrenaline high of like beating its rival down, and is now sort of like its eyes are flicking between you and Imogen, and assessing.
All right. Well, you have my bonus actions have now become reactions, and I think I'm good.
Okay, shit. Imogen sort of like recovering from sort of like having the air knocked out of her. She's gonna at least try and make a swing at one. She critically misses, goes wide, will sort of again swing around a second time and take a swing at 6. Who she does it. She just seems to be really struggling with this big guy now. As you think you see sort of wariness beginning to sort of like creep up onto her face. She gets like a nick off of 1, but as she's sort of backing up, I think she is gonna retreat after that strike. God fucking damn it, Photoshop, stop it. And she vanishes.
She just disappears.
To you, yeah. She. You feel sort of like the breeze of wind, and you're not sure where she's gone.
Okay, good. I'll look around for her in a second.
Myth is going to dash over. 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. She can almost get to you. And Nikki isn't yet. The monkeys are dead, so it's number 1. Who is going to, I think, attempt to grapple you again, Veer.
Okay.
So can you make me a strength check, please?
Yes. At 14.
14. Oh god. Sorry. Yeah. Again, it sort of slams its hand into the rockwork, but it seems to be almost like looking around above it, trying to pinpoint where the other one's just gone, but it'll take the other strike at you with one of its remaining good fists, and again, sort of nat ones. As you see, it's like warily, it goes to sort of strike you, but it's almost backing up back into its sort of like hoard, and baring its teeth. As bad round for Monkey. It's now Nikki's go, and she's gonna see what she can do. You hear the sort of distant call of heads or tails, as another coin sort of swings past. You almost feel it cut through your hair for a moment, and reverberate with that sort of like metal sort of sound. As it ping! You see it sort of, it strikes the tusk of this thing on the same tusk that ring is on, and it sort of like pings off, cutting the side of its face, and you see that the ring is completely unaffected by the metal impact on it.
Okay.
And it's looking pretty rough. As Nikki is also gonna 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. She can't get 30. She's gonna dash, and she skids sort of like up next to you, Veer, and gives you a nod. As it is your go. She goes, where did that woman go?
I'm not entirely sure. I think she can teleport into people's shadows.
Fuck. And she starts sort of looking around, and she'll try and pin them down on her next go.
Okay. Whose turn is it?
It's your go.
Oh, my turn. Okay, I move one.
Yeah.
I move 5 feet to the east, 5 feet to the east, and then I will do an
Yeah, baby,
attack.
yep. Go for it, go for it, go for it.
For a 10 to hit, that's probably a miss, right?
Yeah, a 10 doesn't make it.
Even on 6.
Huh?
No, it's okay, it's okay.
It's, oh, hold on. Yeah, even on 6.
Well, bonus actions to reactions, that's me.
Damn, I'm sorry, that was rough.
No, it's okay, I mean, that's fine, that's just how it is.
Myth is gonna make it up next to you, and she is gonna sort of take a multi-attack sort of palm strike into it. She for 24, which is very good. Actually, that might do it. You see Myth sort of like she charges in and she sort of like strikes with the side of her palm into its abdomen, and as it sort of like keels over from the blow, she brings another hand smack down sort of like in the center of its sort of jaw, and you watch as the front of its face dents as her hand cuts into it with some force, and number 1 drops. You'd got it down to a crisp 4 HP.
Right, okay.
And number 6. Where are you? After Myth, it is the Monkeys. And number 6, seeing its troop fucking demolished now and looking amongst the carnage, is going to very quickly try and make his way up the pillar. And to try and escape. And you can make an attack of opportunity against it if you'd like.
I would love to.
It's just going to use his climb speed to try and escape.
I think it's just an 8. Oh, I missed. Okay, it gets away.
It makes its way up this pillar. You try and swing at it, and you get, for a moment, the flashback of the griffin, the one that got away from you on that goddamn deck of the ship. And as you're sort of like looking around assessing, you hear a thud as 6's body falls to the ground.
For God's sake, Nikki shoots it down.
Next to you. Sorry, let me find my music. Sorry. As stood sort of like up, you can see in the sort of shadows of the canopy up on top of this pillar, maybe like 10 foot above you, is this purple haired girl. She's pulled the sort of scarf back over her face, and is sort of crouching down.
Mm-hmm.
And she, I mean, what are you doing? You can see as she's sort of like crouched down there, she has a number of daggers strapped both to her sort of like, she's got holsters on her sides, but she's also got a set strapped to either one of her sort of like legs. She's got like leg holsters as well. And at her side, in a sort of netted bag, you can see 2 of those like fingerprint engraved orbs.
Mm-hmm. I kind of nod. Thanks for the assist there. That was useful.
I wasn't expecting company. I suppose you'll want to share, won't you?
I look over to the shards.
Which Nikki and Myth are sort of like looking at you, looking at each other, and they're almost taking like defensive. Well, Nikki's taking a sort of defensive position. Myth sort of like smiles and gives her a little bow.
Well, that depends how willing you are to negotiate. We came here looking to talk to you.
You see her eyes narrow. Suspiciously, but not necessarily hostily.
I don't know if you know who I am. It doesn't matter all that much. I'm a third party to whatever it is you've got going on.
And what exactly would I have going on?
I happen to be walking past the house of scrolls through notes. Yeah, of the Zatha family the other day.
You're on their payroll then?
No, not at all. As I said, I'm a
Smart
third
man.
party. But I was wronged by the Zathas. They robbed something from me. I assume you know the ability of oh my god, so many names. Maze.
I know it enough.
Yes.
If
Well,
you've been robbed by her, then I'd say we're mutually aligned on that front.
well, you see, when you took from her that night, you took something she had taken from me. I came to ask for it back.
She looks you up and down. Maybe an insight check.
She comes. Sure. I will also say that I haven't told them who she is. Like they don't know. If that makes sense. Fuck me, dude. My stat, like, it's not only are my stats low, but Toasterbot is giving me nothing but red. Look at my bot channel and scroll up.
No, it's honestly, it's been absolutely the fucking same on my end for all the little guys.
I got a 6, but like, I only have like today I had nothing but orange and reds. Oh come on, dude. Well, I mean, it's only been today for 30 minutes, but you know.
You can't really seem to tell her body language, but you do see her sort of reach around, sort of like to a pack that is below the sort of half scarf on her back. Something metal or something paper?
I'm after the book with the bowl on the front, I say.
And she pulls it out, and you see it. You also see that the metal bowl on it is not there.
So she's opened it.
You can assume so. What are you willing to trade for it?
I look to the side at the fragments. I'll let you take your share of the fragments from that pile.
And you'll stop me taking it if I don't.
I need that book back.
I don't much like the others.
I'll also not tell them that it was you who had tried to assassinate one of them.
They won't believe you.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. Believe me, my people have been trying to tell them that we're not into the whole assassination gig. We don't fuck with politics for months. They never believe it. Our goddamn bounty's been putting pressure on our necks. They're liars and they're scoundrels. You shouldn't fuck with them.
You're telling me the Shadowhands didn't assassinate their father?
Of course not. As I said, we don't fuck with politics. I don't know why they think it was one of us to begin with. You look like you're from Lowtown.
I nod.
I'll make this trade with you. There's nothing in this fucking thing, so I'm not sure why you want it. Have you seen one of these? And she sort of gestures to the little bag of gate keys on her side.
Those look like the shape on the door, the indentations.
They do? You got one?
You're going after the boss.
Of course I am. I'm going for as high a grade a license as I can get. And I think that'll do me quite well.
As you're probably aware, the Zathers had one. And I heard from a certain someone that... what are they called? Alec, son of Sir Maxim Silvershield, they had one.
You catch a little bit of a smile on her face.
But I'm guessing you already knew that.
I did. They wouldn't have got their hands on it if it weren't for me, so I'd say I was heard.
I nod.
So?
Oh shit. Well, I kind of want to fight the boss myself. She has two. I nod. I said, I know where the last one is. If you want to fight the boss, I would be willing to do it with you. Or are you trying to take it on alone?
Make me a persuasion check.
Or am I like, watch me roll a 3. What was that? A charisma check?
A persuasion check.
I actually have +4 on charisma, please. It's a crit. Yo!
She seems to weigh her options. She looks you up and down. Fine. I probably couldn't take it alone. Alone anyway. Sorry. Oh yeah, I was trying to get my brain in order. Fuck it. Fine. But I want a fair cut of whatever the boss gives.
I nod. Understandable.
And your friends there,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna keep quiet too?
I turn to them.
Myth, seeming a little clueless, gives it a little bit of like sure, I'm not quite sure what's going on, but okay. And Nikki looks at you and then gives her a nod. Alright. Then that's settled. I have one more condition there.
What's that?
I want the ring.
I turned to look at that ring. I was hoping you hadn't noticed. I say.
That's a reason I struck there first. You're pretty sneaky.
Can't say, you can't blame me for trying, right?
I gotta take what we can get.
Do you really need that ring?
Do you?
I kind of like nod. I think I do. Didn't you steal a ring already?
She flinches slightly. You're not gonna get on me for that too, are you?
I shrug. I'm pretty confident that the Zath girl is going to be hunting for it. But, the way I see it, you're wandering up, and I'm wandering, well.
Shit. I mean, I'll make a trade with you. The sooner I can get that fucking thing off my hands, the sooner I can stop dealing with her.
You'd give me the ring.
For that one.
I want a ring I can keep. Well, I'm happy to take the Zatha girl's ring. I can return it to them. I can say that, you know, I can make up some story about someone else. I don't know. Return it, maybe buy you some, you know, some leeway. But as for the ring on there, I'm gonna pry it free.
Yeah, go for it. Maybe a strength check.
Yeah. 24.
24. It's like it's wedged on there pretty firmly, but you can pull it off with ease.
Yeah.
You see it's a small sort of like gold ring in the shape of sort of interwoven vines,
Mhm.
and bluey green gems sit sort of like dull and evenly spaced along the bands, almost looking like berries. And you feel the moment that your hand touches this a pulling sensation.
Mhm. Like as in to put it on.
Not to put it on, just like you feel like you can attune to this or begin a process of attunement.
Why is oh gosh. Okay, so I have this ring. I'll like slip it on for now and say, surely we can come to some kind of agreement. There's no need for anything to go south here. You've already got a ring. I'm happy to give you all of these fragments in exchange for the book.
All of them, huh?
The book means a lot to me, and if it clears up this ring thing, then it's fine.
Alright. I can make that deal. Though, no. I can make that deal. And she'll drop down off of the off of the sort of a pillar. You see, it's a fair drop, and she lands it impeccably with like it's very quiet. You notice when she lands,
Mm-hmm.
and you see sort of like a girl that you wouldn't call her scrawny, but if she were, any less sort of like weathered by combat, you might. Very much the build you see in Lowtown. Although she seems to have survived a little longer than most. And she sort of saunters over to you and holds the book sort of spine down towards you. And it's sort of like eyeing over and almost like sizing up Nikki, who's like kind of like looking at the gem pile with a bit of a like, God damn it, but we did come for the book and he is dying kind of look as she sort of rubs her neck. And this girl sort of smirks. I didn't get your name.
Via.
Imogen.
I nod. Well.
It's on your arm.
Yeah. I take the book from her. I'm hoping the book will let me know.
Alright.
And I turn to like the pile of fragments on the ground. Suppose they're yours. You're wanting to defeat this boss.
Yeah.
How are you planning to get strong enough? I mean, we could try it as a group, but do you think we'll have what it takes?
Well, we better, otherwise we're dead. But no one ever got anything by not taking a risk. As she's like, you see she walks over and she begins sort of like gathering these fragments up and bundling them into like small pouches around her belt. Besides, they said that they'd neutralized it, right? It'll probably be weak enough for us to fight, I'd reckon. Although, this is the Zather's work, so there could be scummy shit afoot. I'd at least like to look it up, take a peek inside. See what we're dealing with. That might put us ahead, make us a little prepared, and it's not like someone's gonna nab it out from under me.
Okay, hang on, give me 1 second. There's like a fly that's gone into my room somehow.
No! Get it!
It's like a big fly as well. I have no idea how it got in. I feel like it must have like come through the bottom of my door or something.
Bro, legit jungle ambience. The flies are coming.
Why are you going into the corner of the thing? Okay. Fly removed. Okay.
You said you know where the last key is?
I nod.
You've got more honor than the Silver Shield boy. As she finishes sort of gathering up these... It's quite a sizable bundle.
How many fragments did I just lose?
Quite a few.
Well... Okay.
You see, she sort of laughs and shakes her head. God damn it. And she tosses you one of the small bags.
I appreciate it.
Nah, that's pity.
I smile. Well, if you want to meet, what time of? I mean, if you've already got 2, then we can basically raid this boss whenever we feel like it, right? Because
It depends. How
Well,
far do we gotta go for your key?
my key isn't that far away. Like, I can reasonably get it within a day. The question is, when do you want to fight the boss?
I'd like to get a look as soon as possible.
But wouldn't opening the door expose it to other external forces?
She shrugs. I don't know. I'm hoping maybe we could just close it again, but I've never done this.
I think back to the other door. Did it look like it could be resealed, like the one that was pushed in?
The one that was pushed in, you didn't really get a look at the other side of it
Yeah.
because it was crumbled and you never went around that way. But you know that if the boss has been neutralized to some
The door must be
degree,
closable, yeah.
it must have been opened and closed prior to this.
Okay. I turn to Imogen and say, we can go look at it then if you'd like. But there's one thing I need to do first. I have a friend they've got spark bleed after coming here. And there's a plant that can help them before it gets too bad. We know roughly where it is. It's only a small detour heading back up north. If we can grab that first, then I can, make sure that everything that's time critical is sorted out. Then we can look at the boss. Does that sound reasonable?
I don't see why not. I gave this other girl quite the strike. She'll probably be down for a little while yet. Can probably spare the time.
Okay. Did they see you at all? Like, will they know it's you?
No. I doubt they pay any attention to what we look like. We get a bad rep, you know. And it's worse than we actually are. And it's all because of them.
I nod. I could see it. Well, if you don't mind me, I'm gonna take the cause of the animals which slayed. And then
I suppose I can let you sneak that much from under me.
I smile. So they gave us one bag, and we're gonna go get the cores. And I have a ring. That's exciting. I got the
You
book.
can. Roll
This is
me,
huge.
roll me a d2.
Okay. One again.
You put the ring on, and you think it's probably only going to take you about a day to attune to this thing.
Okay. I'm just gonna leave it on.
And you do have the book. You see that it is open. It's not got sort of like the latch on it that it had like after you had reclosed it. But again, do you look at it?
Um,
I'm gonna look at it now. Or are you gonna look at it later?
I might look at it later. This is gonna be. I mean, if she steals the book back, then I'm gonna be so upset. I'm gonna put it in my bag. Okay, so I have a like green jewel ring, right? Or I guess golden ring with green jewels that I've started to attune to. I have the book back. Which I've written is Golden Ball book. I have one bag of gemstone, like one bag of spark fragments. How much was in that? What's actually in that?
There were 8 standard ones in there from the bundle that she picked up.
Nice. And then I'm going to go loot 7 cores. And then two from Big Monkeys.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. So I think I have all of that.
Do you want the cores in fragments? Are you going to?
Yeah. I'll break them down. What's in them?
So all the small cores, you get 34 standard fragments.
Okay, hold up. 34.
And of the big 2 cores, you get 17 standard fragments and 2 high fragments.
And then the other ones is what, sorry?
17 standard and then 2 high quality fragments.
With a 34 low tier.
No, it was that was mid.
Okay, I'm confused then, sorry. So is it low tier, normal?
So of the little cores from the little monkeys,
right. Yeah.
you got 34 standard tier fragments.
Right.
Standard tier 1 fragments.
Sure, yeah.
Of the big cores, you got 17 standard fragments.
Okay.
And 2 high quality fragments.
Right.
As well as the ring.
Big. So I've got 2 of those, and then I'll mix those together to get 58. Cool. Nice.
Wonderful.
I sorted my shit. Excellent. I look forward to having a special ring. If that is what this is. That would be so nice if it was.
You, Nikki, Myth, and now Imogen, you all sort of go around. She lends you a dagger to help sort of like cut these cores out and crack them open. And yeah, what's your plan? Myth reckons it's probably about midday-ish.
It's about midday.
And it'll take you a few hours to get back to the temple.
I'd ask Imogen, did you want me to deal with the ring, or are you happy to deal with that yourself?
I can deal with it.
Okay.
I got a few uses for it.
Do you know what the symbol on it means?
Make an insight check.
Sure. 14.
Nothing good. but I don't know for sure what's going on. But I know that the Zather kids got to deal with them. I don't know how much you know, but you should know at least that they've been relatively cut off from the family funds.
That I do.
Still, they're the ones upping the bounty.
That's true.
I reckon these fuckers have got something to do with that. But I don't know who they are, if that's what you're asking.
I have a hunch. I know what they might be called, but I don't know what that means. But I know that you might want to be a little bit careful. I've seen a second ring here with the same symbol on it.
She nods. I've clocked them. I've been staying away.
Do you know what that deal is? With those masks? So odd. And they were testing people when we went into the gates.
Yeah. I do your best to steer clear of them. She doesn't say much more than that.
Noted. Well, let's go find that flower quickly then, before things get rough. What's your...
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose I shouldn't ask what your plan is after this.
Go home for a start. Give my sister this lovely ring I happened to acquire whilst on my little training expedition. Hopefully also return with a good old license, maybe run some gates. But you know how it is. I'll do whatever Lowtown throws at me. What about you? Who are you?
Me?
You're not from our part of Lowtown, that's for sure.
No.
Do reasonable for that.
My mother has spark blades, the kind that can't be cured, at least to my knowledge. But Myth says there are people in Temple who might be able to help, so maybe I'll head there.
It would be a good time of year to do so. We get a lot of travelers. There's a festival going on, I think. I wasn't going to head back for it. I've kind of burned some bridges there, but that is besides the point. It's a big festival around an eclipse.
Around an eclipse?
Yeah, it's usually worth a look. There's a little bit of, this sort of fighting contests and, just fun festival things to do. There's usually an amphitheater sort of show, a sky show. You would not know what they are. That is okay. But it brings in a lot of travel, which in turn brings in a lot of money that helps fund some of the temples for healing. It is quite a good system, I think.
Sounds worth a visit.
It is, it very much is. I won one of the competitions one year, and who is now my master, came down and asked what I wanted for a prize, and I managed to weasel my way into the sky temples.
I nod, but I clearly don't know what the sky temples are.
Sorry, the high temples, not the sky temples.
Right. I'm like, that sounds pretty impressive. And I kind of, I guess, maybe I head there. I don't really know too much about anything, to be honest. I am, as I said, very much a third party to this. I just, needed this back. And I put I just put the bucket into my bag.
Yeah. You see Nikki sort of nods and sort of rests her head back on her hands, her elbows sort of stuck up in the air. Well, if you plan to go traveling after this and you need someone with a skyship license, I'm sure I can assist you.
That sounds pretty good. You can fly an airship?
Well, I have, a provisional license, which sure means I can only really do, a certain category of skyships, but it's enough. I can drive. I know how to fly them. Both Myth and Imogen give each other a look.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
It's legal.
I didn't say it wasn't. It sounds like it could be a plan. I mean, I can't drive an airship.
If you're looking for healing, it is probably a good idea to take your mother there. I don't know your situation. I know you said you're a little low on luck, but maybe if you saved some of the herbs from here, or even if you ran a few gates, you could probably afford the fee. It isn't much. At least not by traveler standards.
Running some gates could be an idea. We'll see how it goes, I suppose.
I think the traveler's fee is about 20 gold per head, so you'd need 40.
May not. It's good to know.
If you do decide to take the trip up there, let me know before the week is out. I can give you a contact.
I thought you said you were heading back yourself.
I might. I've got a bit of traveling that I want to do. The gates, they are so fascinating, and so many have been popping up lately with depictions of my god. I wanted to travel around to some of them, see if I could weasel my way into some research groups. But maybe I will head back. I have a lot to think about now that I know that, you can see the wiggly shapes. Maybe it really does have something to do with your arms. I hate to admit it, but there is a weird sect where I live, the sect of Unbound Secrets. They are kind of a freaky bunch. There's a bit of a stigma around what they do. Remember I was telling you about them?
I remember.
They I think they use what it is that you have in your arm, or at least a changed version of it. Perhaps a weakened version of it. But it is freakish. I do not like it very much. And perhaps I should take another look at the research.
Well, once we get back and everything's sorted, I know I want to have a look at that book. But for now, let's try and find that flower. That way we can help either.
And everyone seems to nod in agreement, and you begin making your way back through the jungle. And I think for today, we'll end the session there. Thank you very much for playing.
I gotta look away when you're staring me down with daggers. I'm not sure what to say, but no matter what, it don't matter. The comical light got me wide-eyed this time. I touch your tongue tied, go ahead and make up my mind. Ooh, lips are turning blue, chemicals in you, trying to take me out of my body. Ooh, with the Panasonic view, looking right through me, you're gonna take me out of my body. I don't know how you do it, yeah, but there's a rhythm in the room and I can't keep up. Oh, do you feel it moving? A bit of bitters in the wound, yeah, it feels like us. The comical light got me wide-eyed this time. I touch your tongue tied, go ahead and make up my mind. Ooh, lips are turning blue, chemicals in you, trying to take me out of my body. Ooh, with the Panasonic view, looking right through me, you're gonna take me out of my body. Out of my body. If it's alright, won't you say why? Know you got plans, but I got the time. Heard you told a friend, now I gotta mend a little bit more than we like to pretend. If it's alright, won't you say why? Tell me your sins and I'll tell you mine. Heard you told